Now, this is $1 million question. Is freelancing for you? And this is where I want to slow down a little bit. Okay. So far it's just like boom, boom, boom. It's sort of like all the pros and you should freelance and blah, blah, blah. Let's analyze this. Let's sit back and really look at this and mold it around your personality. Everybody has a different personality. And then just kind of analytically go through it and decide if this is for you. And then if it is, how can you figure out a roadmap to kind of hit it in the right direction? So let's go. My first question to you is, do you work well under pressure? So many people that I know, they cave in. When they're under pressure, they give in, they can't handle it. And it's a very natural response for a lot of people. On the other hand, the way I was raised, all my brothers and myself, like we picked that up from our dad. He is just a freaking getting in your face kind of guy, never scared of anything. And just being around that all our life and taking that in, it's the opposite for us. So anytime I'm under pressure, I freaking thrive. 99% of the times I put myself in that situation where I have to do things under pressure because I know that's when I'm going to get the best results. And now that I don't recommend that because this is not great. Being under pressure and have that high intensity and that high adrenaline at all times is not great, probably for your heart and for your health and for the longevity, but I'm bred from that DNA. That's just me. But this is a very, very genuine question that you have to ask. And that's the first thing when it comes to freelancing that you got to ask, can you do that? Because you don't understand. There's so many times when you're going to be looking at, where's the next check coming from? Are you going to make the rent? Do you have money for groceries? Things like that. And this is just real life situations. Everything that I'm sharing here, I've gone through it. And eventually you're going to learn to like budget and this and that. But in the beginning, those are the things that you're going to be facing. So you have to understand, can you take that pressure and deal with it and then figure things out? Are you good to think on your feet? And if the answer is yes, then absolutely give freelancing a chance. If the answer is no, then kind of sit back and maybe it's not, never say never. So it's not that. You can say no for now, but then start thinking about this and start working on these things. And hopefully in a year or so, you're going to be ready to freelance. Number 2, are you good with managing money? When I started my first full-time job back in 2010, I was fresh out of college. I mean, we were stupid. My wife and I at the time, we were just crazy. I would get paid on the first and the money would be gone on the second, and I'm sure most of you or a lot of you have experienced that when you're new and you're just starting to make some money, like you don't know how to allocate everything. And then we learn as we grow. But some people may never learn, or some people, it takes longer to get to that point than for other people. So which one are you? If you're still struggling with that, then think about it and really consider before you give up your full-time to go for that freelance opportunity, because that's going to be a problem. You really need to learn the concept of stashing away. That's just what I do. And that's just, so normal to us now that every time I get a big fat check, I just put it away and then spend whatever I need to spend and splurge a little bit here and there. But I know that, hey, this is not how it's going to be all the time. I'm not going to be working and making $40,000, $30,000 a month every month. So I need to just be, mindful of that and then just go from there. And once you got a grasp on it, then you have the edge, because the money that you can make as a freelancer is just ignorant. Like you can easily make 2 to 3 times the money that you can with a full-time job. So if you learn to manage your money, you're in heaven. Does unpredictability excite you or frighten you? Another very important question you got to ask yourself. My older brother, he likes predictability. Everything in his life is very straightforward and very binary, and he likes to keep it that way. If the thing goes from here to here, he freaks out. He doesn't like it. That's just not him. That's not in his DNA. And we're from the same family, but I'm the complete opposite. I love unpredictability. So does my wife. So this lifestyle is tailor-made for us. We like things to just go up and down and this and that, and like we can just manage and maneuver and do whatever we want. I feel much more nimble in this environment. So are you the kind of guy who has a 10-year plan and is sticking with it? Or are you somebody who kind of lives in the moment and figures it out as you go? Do you get bored easily? I mean, that's a pretty self-explanatory question. So if you're the kind of guy who works on something and just can't stand to see that thing for more than 5 days, 10 days at a time, then you're a born freelancer. If you're somebody who can find comfort in working on a similar thing that you work to perfect over time, and then that's all you got to do, and your job is just so much easier now because you've been doing it for the last 2 years, then think about it. Maybe freelancing is going to give you a lot of anxiety because you're going to be jumping from project to project, and that might not be the right fit for you. Do you like to lead or follow orders? Now, a lot of people might just say, no, but I don't like to follow orders, blah, 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 like I'm a leader, this and that. But if you really sit down and think about it and take in this question and really see your first response when you're at work, do you like that somebody else takes the accountability, somebody else takes the pressure, who's giving you the order, so then you can just execute, do your best, and then if the thing falls flat, it's not on your shoulder, it's on someone else. So if that is you and you find comfort in that, then, again, think about the freelancing route, because you're going to have to be accountable for everything that happens. And sometimes, your surroundings too. So you're really kind of doing many different things and playing many different roles because you're basically a business. You're not just an employee doing one thing, collecting paychecks. So that's the thing that you got to think about. A lot of the times when I'm working on professional gigs, I'm presenting them with solutions and I'm making sure that I'm being respectful and I'm not stepping on anyone's toes, and especially the creative director or whoever I'm dealing with. But I just respectfully present them what can make something better. And if they think great, they'll take it. And if they think no, then that's a no. And I don't get hurt and I just move on. So that's where the leadership comes in as a freelancer. And that's a very valuable skill. So these questions are really carefully put together. And I really need you to just take a moment and come up with your own answers, and don't think too much about it, because if you're going to think a lot, then you might give the answers that are not really you. So just like the first thing that comes to your mind, write it on a piece of paper and analyze it. And again, this does not mean that if your answers are like, hey, you're not a freelancer, you will never be a freelancer. With this, it can at least give you some sort of a roadmap, what you need to work on to get to that point where you can actually become a freelancer.